Welcome to Making Sense of SLOs. This series of short recordings is designed to provide additional technical assistance as you navigate the development of an SLO. They are not designed as a replacement, but rather a supplement to professional development. We'll continue this series with a video that provides guidance on development of student learning objectives. This video is the second in a series. What's provided in this particular video is regarding the goal statement, standards, and rationale. We're going to develop a quality goal. We're going to ensure that the goal is aligned to the standards, and we're going to talk about producing a rationale for that selected goal. And we'll have exemplars for each of those. Please note that any supporting documents will be within the Moodle. Those supporting documents will include the template for SLOs, and in this particular module there'll be a document called Goal, Standards, and Rationale Organizer that may be useful as you start to develop these things to support the SLO process. Please also note that you'll see the word algebra highlighted in red throughout the slides in this module. As we write examples for goal, standards, and rationale, the algebra statements will be connected through this entire presentation to form a final product at the end of this module. The development of a goal statement is the essential and first step in the SLO process. The goal really sets the tone for what is to follow through the entire SLO, and it's a critical concept that should be addressed initially. A goal statement is indeed a narrative that encompasses these several bullets here. It should be reflective of big ideas of your course grade subject. It should be based on several concepts or topics. It should foster student success now in your course and for future endeavors. It should be derived from the most important learning, and it should extend beyond your current year, your course grade subject. It's really what are the big takeaways from your class? What do you want students to know, understand, and be able to do as they leave you and go even beyond your class and into society? What a goal statement should not be, it should not be a list of learning objectives. It should not be based upon one or two lessons, and it should not be limited to just your course, grade, or subject. Here are some quality examples of goal statements. I'll give you a moment to pause and read those statements through. Notice there are several ways in which a goal statement can be worded. The examples listed here address a variety of content areas. You can see each one captures a central concept to that content area. It's suggested that teachers work collaboratively to design these goal statements. Please note that also these big ideas that we mentioned before do not necessarily have to be reflective of the big ideas derived from the SAS curriculum frameworks. Also notice algebra, as stated, is highlighted in red. That first goal statement we will continue to follow as we develop standards and a rationale for that goal statement. You may want to pause at this point to work together or individually to build a good goal statement for your SLO. The next step would be identifying the targeted standards for your SLO. These are the standards that define the big ideas represented in the goal statement. They'll also serve to guide the selection of your performance measures that will be dealt with later in the SLO process. These standards represent the essential skills and knowledge that will be evident when the goal is realized. When completing the template, these are some of the things that you want to consider. They want to be the most directly applicable to the goal. If possible, make them hyperlinks. You should supply a brief description of each. If you don't have Pennsylvania standards for your particular content area, then use the ones that are already approved by your LEA. What it should not be is a laundry list of every standard in your course grade or subject. Be selective. choose the standards that best align to that goal. Let's take a look at an example. Once again, we're following the algebra throughout this particular module. And to be reflective of the goal, if I could remind you what the goal was for algebra, it was to demonstrate understanding of numeric relationships by analyzing and generalizing those relationships using words, graphs, tables, equations, and inequalities using technology. And therefore, these could be the 4 supporting standards of that particular goal, as well as an incorporation of the standards for mathematical practice. You may want to pause at this point and determine those targeted standards that should be reflective of the goal that you developed earlier. Next, we move to the rationale statement. The rationale statement addresses the importance of the goal and the targeted content standards for the learning in this course, grade, or subject. It really helps you identify and justify the reasons for your goal and standards. It's a narrative that provides the reasons that you chose that goal, the reasons why those standards aligned to that goal, and the reasons why this is the essential learning for your course. There was a reason why you set the goal that you did, and you want to explain the reasoning for that goal statement. Here are some examples of rationale statements. Once again, we follow the algebra through. We already developed a specific goal for algebra, targeted standards for that algebra course, and now we're developing a rationale statement that follows those. You may want to pause at this point, develop a rationale for your particular SLO if you're following along. And then finally, as promised, we put all of the goal statement and rationale together into the template for algebra in particular, such that you can see what one might look like in the template. So if we could review, the goal statement was to demonstrate an understanding of numeric relationships by analyzing and generalizing those relationships using words, graphs, tables, equations, and inequalities using the technology. We have the supporting standards for that goal. Again, not a laundry list, but the standards that are most reflective of that goal statement and most supportive of, and also reflective of the important learning. And then the rationale of why we chose that goal statement and those standards. And that was problem solvers must be able to model and generalize using multiple representations and strategies. And lastly, if you need any more information regarding developing SLOs, please contact the IU reps appropriate to your particular region seen below.